You're somebody with great ambition within you. You're somebody deep inside that feels a greater calling, that you're meant for something big. You don't necessarily know how to go about it, right? And perhaps you're about to enter college or you're in college. And the thing about college is it's tough because there's so much freedom there. And when there's freedom, there's a lot of opportunity. But if you don't know what you're looking for, then you might be somebody that gets overwhelmed. And you might be somebody that chooses the wrong things. And then you find yourself in the situation where post-college, you might not necessarily be enjoying your time out of it because you haven't set yourself up for it. I don't want you to be somebody that peaked in high school. I don't want you to be somebody that peaked in college. Look, I've been through this, okay? And in my first few years of college and in my later halves of high school where I really wanted something big for myself, I knew that I had to apply myself and I went on this journey. People make fun of me all the time and they think today I'm still too intense, right? But there's a level of understanding that I don't have this freedom of just wasting away opportunity. I come from a family that doesn't have a lot. And I want to be somebody that makes something for my family. And I knew that I had to put sacrifices there. And I am seeing now, after 4 or 5 years of doing this straight, in one of the most difficult majors you can possibly take as an undergrad in biomedical engineering and getting my master's in it at the same time, also doing a neuroengineering concentration, having a business, and then working on all these projects on the side with internships. And of course, what I love to do here with social media, I know what it takes to go ahead and do a lot of these things that we dream about. And if you put your foot down, if you put your head down, and you're willing to go ahead and put yourself through these sacrifices, you can also have the things that I have, and probably even better because I'm giving you the guidance that I wish that I had, right? And it's those same individuals that when I was being made fun of, that they were the ones laughing or they were the ones not saying anything, that now that we're in a point of time where they're looking for jobs as we're ahead of graduation soon, they're very awfully quiet, right? They're not saying much at all because they're not having a lot of recruitment. They're not having a lot of job opportunities. They're getting rejected way more than that they would like, right? They don't have these types of experiences. They don't know what they want to do. And it's okay that you don't know what you want to do, but it's not okay for you to think that it's not plausible for you or to then tell other people that they shouldn't chase after their dreams or that they shouldn't sacrifice because it's a justification to not try in the first place. That's not what we want. I'm telling you it's possible. I'm telling you it's possible that you can make a lot out of the time that you are in college. You can do some incredible things so that afterwards you're in a situation in which you have everything available to you. You're somebody that's so well developed. You're somebody that has all these experiences under your belt that you can go and choose an option for you that you enjoy. You're not stuck in one, okay? So we're gonna go straight into it. This is Blueprint 101 for college students, okay? Hello everyone, my name is June Yu. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm super excited to make this video because I am approaching graduation really soon. And to graduate as a Dean's List student, getting those degrees that I'm getting, man, I'm feeling a sense of immense pride of the work that I've put in and knowing that the sacrifices that I made was actually worth it. And I know that I felt so unclear in those situations because I had nobody in my life to tell me, hey, June, you're on the right track. I just had to go off of gut instinct. I had to trust myself as I was being made fun of all the time for the decisions that I was making. And you guys seen that, most of you, right? I've been creating content now for 4 or 5 years. You know that in the midst of that I wasn't well liked. I had people telling me that, oh, just enjoy your time. And I'm like, this is what I enjoy. I enjoy doing this. I love what I do. And now I see the benefit of that. And so that's why I want you to be able to be cognizant that this is possible for you as well. It's more than possible and you're gonna do even better than me and I'll make sure of it. So give this video a thumbs up. If I say anything that you have a question about, you make a comment about, please leave your comments below. I'd be happy to respond to you. And of course, subscribe. With all of that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. I'm actually going to fly through these points because I want this to be a blueprint overall picture of what I think is important. And then I can make individual videos about each of these as we dive really deeply into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is your major choice. The choice is increasingly becoming a really big decision. Why? Because school is very expensive. So my tuition if I didn't have any scholarships, if I didn't have any type of grants or financial help, I would have been paying about $90,000, $100,000 per year. And my school does give a lot of financial help, and I'm very happy that I get that. But if you are looking at generally, right, even still with all the help that I've had, I probably had to still pay about $50K a year, $40K a year, in that realm. You do that for 4 or 5 years, you can see how quickly that adds up. And I'm somebody that was very cognizant of that, and I've always worked throughout that time to be able to pay off as much as I possibly can. And we can dive all into that. But the major choice is really, really important, okay? Because just as much as I want to tell you that you should just do what you love, I feel like I would be setting you up for failure, right? Because I've seen that thought process, and I've also seen what happens when you graduate with just the thing that you like, when it has actual no practical application. It's okay to pursue those things, and you definitely should, but maybe you don't do that as your major, because I believe the perfect little Venn diagram that you can use for yourself to know which major to choose is 1, the thing that you enjoy, and 2, return on your investment, so ROI. And the third diagram part is going to be transferability. Your skills need to be able to be transferred to multiple disciplines, because at the end of the day, you have no idea what you want to be doing at the age of 17 for the next 10, 15 years. You want to find a major that has transferable skills across multiple disciplines. So if you wanted to choose to get out of it and you want to do something differently, you have the skills, you have the credibility to go and apply there. You have a resume built up to do that. Now, those Venn diagram parts aren't going to look the same for everyone. Why? Because some people really like certain things, right? And they're very, very sure that they want to be doing that. And if they have this dream of always being a lawyer, and we know that it also has a really high return on your investment, then obviously those parts of the circles are going to be a lot larger. There's going to be a lot more drive there, and transferability may not matter so much because they are so fixated on getting this done, and that's totally fine. And of course, a lawyer has a lot of transferable skills, so maybe that wasn't the best example, but your Venn diagram is going to be consistent of those 3 things. I think it's important to consider all of them, right? It's not just about what you enjoy. You should absolutely have a level of that, but how much is the job market willing to pay for that? And in that return on your investment little circle area, you also want to be sure that the future direction of this career is going to be wanted, and there's going to be demand for it, right? And that should be done with research. Like, you should be able to go out there on the internet and sit down and try to figure out what type of positions are available for that type of major choice. Go ahead and connect to people on LinkedIn and see what their thoughts are. And then the idea of transferability is so important, because I don't want you to feel like you're stuck, right? I want you to be able to come out of that major thinking, yeah, I have all these skills, but it's really, really transferable across X industry, Y industry, Z industry, and I can find a job in any one of them. That is exactly the Venn diagram that I chose to use when I was choosing biomedical engineering, right? Look, that is, again, one of the hardest majors you can possibly take as an undergrad student, and I've decided to take my master's on top of that. Why? Because biomedical engineering fits all 3 of those builds for me. 1, I enjoyed learning about the body, right? Because I had this fascination when I was training and I was younger and I was doing sports and stuff, there was a fascination that came with learning about how the body works and functions, right? And then the idea of engineering was really, really cool to me, because ever since I was little, I would like to invent little things, and I loved playing with Legos, etc. And then you have this idea of return on your investment. We know that the biomedical engineering field is continuing to rise, right? We know that tech and more money and funding is going into that type of research. And so you know that that's going to be a good return on your investment. We know that the job stability is there with engineering, because there's going to be a demand for that. And then when you have the ability to go ahead and look at transferability, biomedical engineering, the one drawback of it is that it is very generalized, right? There's a lot of things that you can do underneath it, but that means that you get exposure to so many disciplines. In classes that are related to mechanical engineering, you take classes that are related to computational engineering, you have classes that are related to chemical engineering, you take classes in English, you take classes in higher maths, you take classes in all the higher sciences, right? And all that exposure to all these different disciplines gives you a whole toolbox of different things that you can go ahead and apply to. So if I want to do neuroengineering because that's my concentration, great. But could I also do something related to mechanical? Sure. Could I do something related to chemical? Yes, I just got recently published in a chemistry journal, and I'm not even a chemist, right? Which was a really, really cool thing. But the idea of these little 3 parts to your Venn diagram, I think, are really, really important considerations to make when you're choosing your major. Now, I want to move into internships, okay? So if you've already gone and chosen your major, it's okay. Even if you don't like it so much right now, you're having second thoughts about it, and perhaps you've wished that you were somebody that listened to this video beforehand, it's okay, because what you do within your schooling is much more important than what you've decided before. You can really make the most out of your experiences there. And I think the first element of this is internships. You should absolutely get internships, because there's so many reasons for this. 1, the job market is so competitive right now. And even as a biomedical engineering major where you have so many potential and opportunities and there's such great demand, a lot of my friends right now are applying and they're getting rejected a whole lot, right? They've applied to 50, 60 jobs and they're getting rejected by all of them or close to 95% of them, because even that market is competitive and they hadn't done the work to be able to build a resume for themselves that includes internship experience that sets them apart. So everyone has access now to some sort of certification or degree because of online schooling and courses, etc. But it's your opportunity to set yourself apart as a candidate by going ahead and doing these internships. But moreover, it's not just about what the employers want, it's about what you want, right? When I did 2 6-month-long internships, one was device development testing with container systems, so anything that pharmaceutical drugs come in, when we're talking syringes, vials, you name it, we did systems testing on it. And then I did another 6-month-long internship at GlaxoSmithKline where I was doing automation work in small molecule drug discovery and as a high throughput experimentation scientist. So those were very, very different experiences. And in it, I got to see what I liked and what I didn't like. Just as much as the entire job description outlined what was going on, it did not tell me so much about the day-to-day. And there were things that I liked about the first job, and there's things I liked about the second job, but I wouldn't have no idea of that even existing if I didn't spend 6 months or a long time within that area, right? I got to talk to people and get their opinions on it. So internships are just as important of what you do for the candidate side to really make you stand out, but also for yourself. So you know that, you don't want to apply for something and get a job, even if it's really high paying, that you're not going to enjoy, right? I see this happen all the time, that people will graduate and then they will be so wanting, they're obsessed with getting this one position, and then they get it and they hate it, right? Because they didn't think that it was going to be like that, but you should have done the research and hopefully gotten the experience beforehand with internships to help you better define what it is that you want. The third thing that I want to talk about is building a skill on the side, okay? This skill, what I want you to think of is just as it's important what you do within the classroom, you should be taking steps outside of the classroom to continuously distinguish yourself in the career world, right? You don't want to be somebody that just has the skills that are available within a curriculum. You should be excellent in your studies, right? You should be absolutely excellent. You should be the best. You should try to be the best. But at the same time, you should do what you can outside of the classroom to build a level of foundational skills for yourself and potentially leverage them for entrepreneurial endeavors if you'd like to do that, because that's going to teach you so much more too, right? I have a great example. My friend Austin, one of my best friends, he has been really, really interested in the computational side, right? He's really into programming. We're working on this project right now for school. We're working with atomic operation microscopes. I'm trying to hopefully make it make sense without using too many fancy words because it's confusing for me too. So atomic operation industries have these microscopes and we're trying to create a digital stereoscopic microscope together, right? And it's been a really, really cool project and he's doing a lot of the programming side of it. He would have never gotten that opportunity if he hadn't done programming work by himself and done a ton of projects on the side while he's doing his biomedical engineering degree. Because he had that connection, he was able to find an internship with this one company, a really, really big company within this industry, and then was able to bring on his friends, me and him, and then one other friend and another friend. So the four of us are going ahead and doing this project, but it's because of him, right? Like he had gone through that process of learning about programming, and then now I can utilize my experience with everything that I've done in biomedical engineering in terms of the research side and bring value to that team. But it's so important that you do that, right? Even content creation, we can consider that to be a high value skill, right? Of course it is. Now that we know that all the marketing is heading this way, and this industry is continuing to grow bigger and bigger, I started creating my very first video in my freshman year, right? Ever since that decision where I was creating videos in my end of my freshman year till now, I haven't missed a single day of posting at all across any of my short form content platforms. Why? Because high value skills require you to put a whole lot of time into it. And what I want you to think is I don't want you to monetize off of that high value skill just yet. This is where people get lost, right? They're so money hungry, they're so craving of external validation or whatever it is that they get so frustrated with the work and they just immediately try to jump into making money with it, and then they realize they'll continuously fail and they'll lose the passion of what that skill was in the first place. Put your head down, work on something for while you're in school, build a skill, build a few set of skills, and work on that every single day or every single week while you're in school. And I promise you, by the time you do that for 3-4 years, you can get really good at that to the point that then you can leverage it for monetization skill opportunities, or then you can leverage it on your resume, and then you can leverage it for different opportunities and career projects like my friend Austin did. So building a skill is really, really important. I'm not going to tell you exactly what skill that you have to choose, but just find one that is, again, of interest to you, something that's going to have a high return on your investment, and something that you have to understand now is you have to be willing to put in that consistent work over time with it. But I promise you, it'll pay off more than you could possibly know it. And I think content creation is a great example because you've seen this, right? I can talk about my neuroengineering side, I can talk about my research that I got published for, I can talk about those things, but when we're talking about content creation, you've seen the growth of that. You know how many people made fun of me for doing content creation at the very beginning? So many people. Fast forward 4 to 5 years, nobody's really saying anything to me now because I've been so blessed to have a community that is responding well to the content because it's authentic to me, right? Whatever skill it is, don't think about monetization, just go ahead and build it for a really long time. And then I promise you those opportunities will continue to open up for you. Now that I graduate in a few months, I'm getting opportunities for not all the works that I've done with my internships, with everything in pharma, etc. And these are like top pharma companies that I've been having really cool offers for, but also on this, I'm getting opportunities for business that I could have never imagined of having if I didn't have my own personal brand, right? So I'm telling you, build that skill. It can be coding, it can be cloud software, it can be content creation, it could be whatever your heart desires, just do it. Choose a few, choose one, and do it for a really long time. The next thing that I want to talk about is building a learning system, okay? You need to have this, and I've talked about this so exhaustively across my platform, so I'm not going to talk about it much here, but you need to be making the most out of what you do before class, during class, immediately after class, and for your revision. Why? Because if you don't do that, your efficiency is going to be so bad, right? It's going to be so much like me when I was first starting out, right? When I was in my first year of biomedical engineering, my first 2 years, I was overwhelmed 24/7 because I was surrounded by people that were naturally smart, right? People that got into this major because they have had such great academic success, because you're probably not choosing biomedical engineering if you don't think you're capable of handling that type of course load. So these people are the smartest people that I've ever been around. I'm not like that. I'm not somebody naturally smart, so I had to put a lot of work in, knowing that evidence-based revision techniques were out there, practicing with them for a while, and then creating a learning system for myself in which I was able to really get really good grades in a very small fraction of the time. Why is this important? Because I'm talking about all these other endeavors that you should be doing, and you should absolutely be doing that. And I'm telling you right now, with the workload that I had as a student, I was still able to do all these things on the side because it is possible. It is more than possible if you're willing to do this, if you're willing to go through the sacrifices. But a part of it is your non-negotiable is the school side. So go ahead and be excellent in it, but do it as efficiently as possible with these systems. And I think it's really, really important. And I know that that system is something that everyone can do because at this point, the content that I create about my learning system has helped so many of you, which is the coolest experience ever. And I'm so happy that you don't have to go through a lot of the tragic things that I had to go through in the very beginning of my schooling. And then moreover, the learning system book that just recently came out, and it became #1 on Amazon in a few hours, and then it ended up selling out in a lot of locations. And probably by the time this video is up, it'll also sell out in every location. But why? It's because everyone is recognizing that there is a learning system available, that there's something that you can do to fine tune the techniques that you're utilizing to make it really efficient for yourself so you can get the best grades also in a fraction of the time for yourself. Do that so you have more time for the things that you also want to do outside of the classroom. The last thing that I want to mention here is focus on the intangibles, okay? As much as the external successes of the world tend to tempt us to want to crave after, I don't want you to be stuck in that cycle, okay? Don't be somebody that's just so absorbed with money. Don't be somebody so absorbed with status. Don't be someone so absorbed with fame or popularity across your friends. Right now, I'm telling you right now, it's so important for you to build a strong internal strength foundation. So important. I talk about that with my 3 wins on a daily basis, right? I have my physical win, my mental win, my spiritual win. You do that, I promise you do that for the last 4 or 5 years that I've been doing it, man, are you gonna see a difference in how you approach everything in life. When relationships get hard, you're not somebody that falters. When school gets hard, you're not somebody that falters. When career hunting is hard, you're not somebody that falters. When you have really, really difficult challenges across the board in any type of endeavor that you have, you are not somebody that falters because you have the internal strength capability to overcome it. You're not somebody that craves external validation. You're somebody internally so at peace with who you are that you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to humble yourself before your work, have respect for it, and not cheat the system, not cheat the process. You're somebody that's willing to do that. If you build your internal strength first, I think you should do that with your 3 daily wins. That was my quick rundown, my blueprint 101 of what you should be doing as a student. This is what you should be doing so that you have the opportunity post-college to have all these opportunities for yourself. And you can tell that I'm getting passionate about this because I've experienced firsthand what it felt like to be doubted for so long. And then now seeing the realization of me putting all that sacrifice and effort and work into it, and then seeing the people that were making fun of me and having challenges now that were trying to graduate, and me trying to go and help them and say, hey, like, I know what that feels like to be stuck. Like, I can help you. And how many people are able to receive that now, and I can help them in their journeys. It's the coolest experience ever. And I want you to realize that it's possible. But I also don't want you to have to start a lot later like my now friends are, right? Like, I don't want the people that I'm helping now, I want you to have that experience when you are in high school, when you are starting out college, when you're in your second year or your third year. If you are somebody that is watching this a little bit later in life, that's okay too. You can change everything about your life in just a few months if you have the right type of mentality built and structured. And if you can live your life based on that foundation, man, you can do some excellent things. I'm so happy that you're here. If you have any questions, anything that I can help you with, please leave it in the comments below. And of course, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. With all of that being said, thank you for watching. And until next time, please take care.